On. Whoops. I'm doing multiple jobs today, so hi everybody. Thank you. My name is Remy Tallow and I use she, her pronouns. I serve as one of your Board of Trustee members, and I'm happy to welcome you to the Tahoma Unitarian Universalist congregation. Longtime members and new visitors alike, you're welcome here. Whether you're joining us here on site or in the sanctuary or online from another location, we're glad you're here. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders, and love is the power that holds us together. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. You are welcome just as you are. If this is your first time with us, I bid you a special welcome. I'm so glad you found your way to our community. After the service, I'll be probably like in this little corner over here if you have any questions about Soma Unitarian Universalism or about our congregation, or if you just want to talk. I'm normally pretty antisocial, but not today. I'll be available. Um, if you want to learn about getting involved in our community, you can either ask me or some of the people that I'll bring up a little bit later. For those of you here in the sanctuary, we have hearing assistance devices in the back over there. They'll have like a little ear icon on them. And if you need any help with that, our ushers can assist you. For our services this morning, our online chat chaplain will help guide our online folks. And for those of us on site, we'll be utilizing this big, huge monitor behind us for the words and our hymns and whatnot. You can also follow along on your printed order of services. You can find more information on our website, tahomauu.com. Please be sure to read the weekly e-news for important information about our congregation, upcoming events, or volunteer opportunities. If you aren't yet signed up for the e-news, you can do that today on our website so you don't miss a thing. There's a lot of stuff happening, and I want to bring up a few people. First, I guess we'll bring up Margo since you're right here, and then I'll bring up Teresa to do some announcements.
So if you've been here the last few weeks, you've been hearing about that we're trying to start up offering chalice circles. And so we had to sign up, but I'm also just having a pop-up chalice circle today downstairs. And the theme is trust, which has kind of been our theme for March. We moved from trust into joy. So if you just want to try one, we're going to go meet downstairs after the service and just talk about the subject a little bit. And it's like an hour and meet some new people, and you don't have to sign up. You can just stop in.
Good morning, everyone. I see a lot of faces that I saw here last night. We had our annual auction, and that is completed. And I wanted to let everybody know, first of all, thank you. Thank you to our staff. Thank you to our donors. Thank you to our volunteers and our everybody who participated. But most especially, thank you to the team. Sheila, Penny, Debbie, stand up and be recognized. Without this group, and David Pettit, I don't know where David is, but David Pettit, without this group, we would not have achieved a $12,000 gross for our auction. And so that was surprising, very welcome number to see. A few of the items did not sell, and those are in the library. I'm going to be in the library during the service to identify those that did not sell. So please come by and check and see if that was one of your donations and pick it up. A couple of things that did sell are also in the library. Please pick your winnings up. As you can look around the congregation or the sanctuary here, you see all of the flowers. Those are for anybody who would like to take them home or decorate your place for spring. And last, planning for next year starts today. So it does take a village. It really takes a lot to pull this off and make this happen. So please see any of the auction team members from this year. If you can volunteer your time to help us make next year's even better. Thank you.
Okay, no dramatic entrance this time. Again, you can check out the e-news for more information about all of these things. When do they come out? Like Saturday? Friday. They come out on Friday normally. You're also invited to join us for our social hour immediately following the service right here in the sanctuary. We have decaf coffee, snacks, all kinds of stuff. And real coffee, mostly real coffee. It's it's sorry. It's a great time to catch up and get to know people, and meet new people. We have these red mugs over here. If you know anything about my lore, the first time I ever came to this church, I grabbed a red mug, and I haven't gotten one since. Um, so you can get a normal one if you don't feel very social today. As we begin our service, I respectfully acknowledge that I speak to you today from the land of the Coast Salish people, including the Puyallup tribal nation, land from which they were forcibly displaced. I affirm the continued sovereignty of the 574 federally recognized tribes, including the 29 here in Washington, and I support those fighting for federal recognition. I acknowledge the theft, violence, trauma, and racism that Indigenous people have experienced at the hands of colonizers from 1492 to the present day. I honor the resiliency of the Indigenous people, and I stand with them as they continue to fight for land, water, visibility, sovereignty, and their very existence. Lastly, friends, I invite you to set your electronic devices to worship mode. We are gathered here, one community together. Let us settle ourselves into this holy moment and open our hearts to learn and unlearn, to share and receive. And let's join together in worship.
Thank you, Marianne. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Margo Rinehart, and I am the minister here at the Tahoma UU congregation. The opening words this morning are from Carl Seberg. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. And let there be help and healing for disharmony or despair. Let there be silence for the small voice within us and the voice beyond us. Let there be joy in us coming together this morning.
And I'd like to invite Sylvester Huth up to light our chalice for us today. And if you'll join with me as we recite our words. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and holiness of life, in honor and gratitude for those who have gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. And if you will rise in body or spirit for hymn 361, enter, rejoice, and come in.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Open, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
And it is now time for those young and young at heart to come and join us for Time for All Ages. And I will note that as we sing the children out, we're going to sing it through twice. We have so many kids now that we need to sing it through twice.
Oh no, probably the chairs. Oh, okay. Ah, they're fine. They're cozy. Hello, everybody. Oh, okay. We have a puppy down here. I love it. I love that. So my name is Kinsey. I use she, her pronouns. and I'm the director of religious exploration here at the church. Today, we are going to read a book about planting seeds of peace and planting physical seeds. What do you think it means to plant seeds of peace? You've read this book before. Really? You read it at school? That's a great thing. Let's see how this woman named Wangari plants her trees of peace. You know this book too? Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Love this. So this is Wangari's Trees of Peace by Jeanette Winter. The end. All right, let's go to our classes and talk more about this book.
And now is the time when we ask you to not only open your hearts, but also your wallets or your checkbook or whatever way you have of giving to help Tahoma UU sustain itself. And people in the sanctuary can put their donations in a basket that's being passed around. If you're at home, or even if you're in the sanctuary, you can go to tahomauu.com, our website, and click on I believe it's a donate button. Or no, I guess it says give. Sorry about that. It's a blue button at any rate, and it'll walk you through how to donate online. And we thank you for your generosity.
If you will join me in our dedication of this offering. We dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love we call community, both within and beyond these walls. And if you'd like to remain seated for this next hymn, we'll sing Spirit of Life as a meditation hymn.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. You couldn't all see this from where you were sitting, but as Kinsey starts that book telling her story and the kids are chiming in about if there's no trees, there's no birds, there's no wildlife, and the birds were starting to park themselves on the telephone lines out here, and they looked like they were coming to hear the story, which made me feel joyful. The reading is called Relentless by Sean Parker Dennison. And it's probably not what you think it's going to be. At the beginning of the year, I went to my local interfaith clergy meeting. The person in charge of hosting had asked us to come prepared to discuss a simple practice. What word would we claim for the new year? The person to my left volunteered to go first, and that meant, as we went around the circle, I would be last. It didn't matter to me because I was familiar with this practice. I'd chosen my words a few days earlier and made a vision board for the year. Clearly more ambitious than yeah. But as we went around the circle, I started to get nervous. My first colleagues chose the word hope. The second colleague chose compassion. The third chose self-care. The fourth told a long story and ended with her selecting the word angel. It went on, peace, devotion, honor. By the time it got to me, I was squirming and considering quickly choosing a different word. But that word could be less risky, but it felt dishonest to do that. So when it was my turn, I blurted out, my word this year is relentless. The room went silent. And then it filled with nervous laughter. And I explained, the world seems to be getting meaner. Ministry is asking more of me and of my family. I guess I chose relentless because I need it. I don't want to give up on the world, on the community, on myself, on us. The silence continued. Then one of my retired colleagues smiled and said, "Wow, can I borrow that? I want to change my answer from kind to relentlessly kind." One by one, my colleagues agreed. And suddenly the interfaith clergy serving one small town had all agreed. For that year, we would commit ourselves to being relentlessly hopeful, relentlessly compassionate, relentlessly self-caring, relentlessly peace, relentless for devotion, relentless for joy and honor, and it went on and on. So it seemed like it was going to be a really good year. And if we were really lucky, some relentless angel was going to watch over us. I came across that reading completely by mistake, but I loved it. And I love the thought of this relentless joy, being relentless in our pursuit of joy, relentless hope, relentless compassion, because I agree with this author who is a transgender UU minister in Oregon, that this is the year where we just have to feel relentless about things in our actions about things. And those thoughts made me tired and completely energized all at the same time. It's like when I am not a morning person. So my morning starts with the espresso machine and the double shot latte. And as I sit there and the caffeine starts to kick in, I get into this nice little space. And then I can be relentless. So I want to talk about today, it's joy. So being relentless in our pursuit of joy. Not that we're joyful all the time, but that we have all the time the capacity to allow joy in, even in our most stressful and sometimes painful moments. We're also getting close to Transgender Visibility Day, which happens to be Sunday, March 30th, next Sunday. However, neither Kinsey, who was up here reading, nor I will be here. So I want to talk about it a little bit today. And it actually gives you then a week to think about how you might learn more about or observe or celebrate Transgender Visibility Day. Because that's the day to experience, help people understand and experience trans joy. I think most of us agree that we've been through some really tough times this year, the last few months, before, during, after the election. And there were also other hard things that had nothing to do with the election and politics. A lot of us just needed downtime in November and December and January until we could think about next steps, our concerns about democracy. What were our next steps? I could see a lack of joy in our lives back then, and I experienced it in my own. My first little thing in my relentless pursuit of joy was I found this, I discovered Democracy Forward. They are the group that is filing a lot of pro-democracy lawsuits, and they're winning them. So if you want a little piece of joy about politics, sign up for the Democracy Forward newsletter, because what you get in that newsletter, I can't remember if it's weekly or semi-monthly, is the wins. You only get the good stuff. You can get all the rest of it somewhere else. Go to Democracy Forward and get the good stuff. Unitarian minister Julia Hamilton refers to us that we have gone through the last few months of being overwhelmed and underjoyed. So I want to take a little inventory of where we are in our joyfulness. And I want to also, one of the things I hope you leave with today is that difficult times and joy are not mutually exclusive, that they can be right there with each other, and they can be in and out all the time too, like a weaving. I want you to pause for a moment and think about the last time you saw joy in others or in yourself. Not just feeling content out like after a great meal, but really like real joy. For any of us who were at the auction last night, and by the way, I'm super impressed that the sanctuary is this full this morning after all the work that went into the auction last night. There was this incredible moment of joy when one of our kids up here won that little coin, that special coin that was so beautifully packaged with a piece of history that went with it. And he was beaming, just beaming. And it was infectious. So then we all felt joy with him and for him. For myself, when I need a little shot of joy, okay, I will admit this, I go to really ridiculous cat videos. It's just a simple guilty pleasure. I also like watching neighborhood kids at the bus stop. I live on a cul-de-sac, and in the morning, while sipping that coffee I was talking about and failing hard at Sudoku or answering my work email, one or the other. I'm doing something there and I'm all work-minded or frustration-minded if it's a Sudoku. And these voices come. I hear something. It's different. It breaks the regular rhythm. There's just something about it. And pretty soon, it's delighted shrieks and voices from 6 to 7 or 8 kids down at the bus stop. They act out characters. They play tag, pet the dog who lives on the corner, build a lean-to fort, run sprints up and down the hill, and many other things. They seem to have no lack of ability to find joy while waiting in the rain at the bus stop. And it's kind of contagious. I laugh out loud sometimes. On rare occasion, when I'm not in my pajamas, I will go down and join them. I think it would be okay if I went in my pajamas. I don't really think anyone would mind, but I don't want to be the crazy old cat lady on the street. But occasionally I go out with my cup of coffee in my hand, and what I notice is how the parents in the neighborhood are interacting with one another. They're learning names, they're telling stories, they're figuring out who walks their dog when. You can see that neighborhood joy and safety are a concern for all of them. I got a little piece of joy this morning with our own kids up here. And I'm always feeling bad that you guys can't see the faces that are going on. And this little baby up here just having this whole, I don't know, moment of theater with Ben. And what was joyful about that moment is being present with them. It wasn't like they were there entertaining us. We were present with them, watching their learning and watching their relationship with Kinsey. So a few minutes ago, I referenced the Reverend Hamilton, who is a UU minister, and she tells us some things about joy. She says there are 2 elements that seem to be part of the condition for joy to arise. So these are little take homes for us. What are these 2 conditions that we can improve our receptivity to joy? And she says the first one is presence, being in the moment, in a direct relationship with the world, without trying to box it up, or saving it for later, or evaluating its worth, or reviewing it on social media while you're still in the middle of the experience. You can box it up, you can review it, you can put it on social media a little later, but not while you're in the middle of the experience, because it just pulls your attention away. The second element she points us to is there is a certain amount of unpredictability involved. There's some surprise, there's some spontaneity. It wasn't exactly what we were expecting. So first being present, and then noticing when the moment moves outside your control. It's no longer yours, it's taking on a life of its own. I know this is true from my coffee, Sudoku, work email, morning habit. I hear that sound, and then I'm pulled in the moment with the bus stop kids. And then whatever was on my lap is irrelevant at that moment in time. And we watch how the kids are pulled into that moment of spontaneity. And it's do they know? I always wonder, do they know that that's their last moment to run around before they have to get on the school bus? Do they know? It's like, I'm going to get this in right now because then I have to get on the bus and keep my hands to myself and sit reasonably quietly. They're free in that moment and the joy just comes along. And don't you love it when you get your best inspiration in your own neighborhood? Or maybe somewhere you go, a coffee shop that you really like. Maybe it's your coworkers, but that there's some place you can count on that joy is a little more likely to happen I hope here is one of those places. Another inspiration for me as I went around putting these thoughts together about joy was His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I don't know if you've seen video footage of the Dalai Lama, but he is so happy, so joyful. He's smiling, embracing, and he loves to tell jokes. And somehow it surprises me that you call him your holiness. And this guy can't wait to be telling jokes to people and joining in their joy. He has experienced and witnessed tremendous pain and sadness that could have so easily led to despair as he has watched what has gone on in Tibet. But as a Buddhist, he has spent a lifetime practicing mindfulness in a variety of ways, but primarily as it relates to impermanence. Everything will change. We cannot hold on to a moment. He's practiced at being in that moment, not back here thinking about the pain that has gone before, not running ahead thinking about what if, but that Buddhist practice of impermanence. So I should be here in this moment because the rest of that is irrelevant. So he's really practiced in embracing the part of the world he is experiencing right then, which means joy can come in at any second. If you want to see a little bit of the Dalai Lama, this video is older at this point in time, but I think it remains just as powerful, is the Dalai Lama and Nelson Mandela having a conversation. And if you just put that into YouTube, it will pop right up. And there is joyfulness that gets ignited between them. So also this month, let's think about trans joy. For the past few months, I've been thinking deeply about a younger adult who I've known since their teens, who now openly names herself as the trans woman that she has always been, transitioning from being named male at birth, living in a body that society named as male, and knowing for years and years that something was not right. So in their early 20s, they claimed their true gender identity as a trans woman. It was a revelation of what had always been. But it took several years. There was the counseling, there was the talking to friends, there was talking with other trans people who were so generous with their time with her, and the counseling and the hormones, and of the frustration and the worry and the sadness when rejected and the fears about going to friends and family, would they still accept her? So there was joy, frustration, worry, dread, all at the same time. But what she tells in her story, which she's very open about telling, is that her trans joy was discovering and celebrating and revealing who she really was and is. And it was infectious that people around her joined, people who supported her joined in that joy. And let me be clear, it was not her job to create joy for us, rather us to celebrate her life and her journey. And let's be grateful and thankful and joyful that trans people are with us in this congregation, in this community, in this country, and around the world. And it is Transgender Visibility Day next Sunday. So it is a good time for us to really cement that in our hearts. And I would encourage you to just Google it up and read a bit. There's quite a bit that will pop right up if you just put in trans joy. I think probably what pops up first is some good stories from probably Vice magazine. I don't know if Vice is an online magazine or just a blog, but that's one of the things that will pop up first. And for so much, a very long time, there have been politicians, institutions, churches, and voters who want to stamp out transgender rights. And we will fight against that. by celebrating everyone's inherent worth and dignity and allowing this joy to be here with us. So let us broaden and deepen our understanding and let us celebrate all of our places in the human family. Amen. Setting an intention. Let's just be quiet for a moment. Think about a joyful time for you. And appreciate that moment. And then what's going to take to bring more of that opportunity into your life? Living in the moment and being open for delight to pop in. And maybe that's better self-care. Maybe that's more time with other people. Maybe that means celebrating the very small things. And what opportunity you might create this coming week for joy to sneak in. Amen. We are going to now sing a joyful song that you're all going to think you don't know, but I think you'll know the tune. It's number 63. One of my joyful moments lately has been, I have been noticing that daffodils are starting to spread like dandelions, and I'm like, bring on the yellow.
Spring has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers, toward the light is striving, gone the iron touch of cold, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold, now make up the lost time. Herb and plant that winter long slumbered at their leisure, now be stirring green and strong, find in growth their pleasure. All the world with beauty fills, gold and green and dancing, flowers make glee among the hills, sit the meadows dancing.
Also from UU minister and leader Sean Parker Dennison, who is one of my favorite minister colleagues to look to. This is called benediction. At this moment of ending, may there be a good word, a blessing to help us remember what we have so often forgotten. May the message we need be gently spoken and held in the spaces of our cells, the fibers that hold all we need to maintain our gentleness, our courage, and our hope. At this moment of ending, may the goodness we wish for ourselves and each other, this community, this ecosystem, this planet, and the stardust of the galaxy, become such a part of us that we cannot tell where the blessing ends and we begin.
And I'll ask you to join with me in our words of extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of compassion, the honor of truth. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And if you'll rise in body or spirit for a closing blessing. So.
You I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Yes, some of them are a little delicate. You might not want to get them wet.